Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's session called Prioritizing Yourself, Finding Balance. So I'm so glad and grateful to have you all here with us. What we'd love for you all to do is to introduce yourselves in the chat box and let us know what you're most excited to gain from today's session. All right. Go ahead and put that in the chat box so that we can read it from there. Thank you so much, y'all. All right, so while you all are doing that, and before we officially get started, I'd love to share a few friendly reminders. So we'd love to ask that everyone who is able to turn on your videos to please do so. So even though we're not physically in person, we'd love to create that feeling and as if we were, and it supports us in creating an intimate, safe, and brave space for everyone. So if you could do so, go ahead and do that now. Also, all participants' mics will be or should be on.
We gotta change the name.
You can go ahead and put yourself on mute right now. It's always helpful to listen to people talk a little bit without the background noise. So if you haven't done so already, put yourself on mute until we go into our breakout sessions. In the meantime, you can also feel free to add any of your positive comments and reactions in the chat box at the bottom of your screen. Finally, we are asking that everyone take a moment, and you could do that right now, actually. We definitely recommend you do this right now, to adjust your display name to reflect three things. So your name, your role, and your pronoun. And you have some examples there on the slide, actually. So in order to do that, if you happen to be on your phone, if you click on participants, you can click on your name, and it should give you the option to rename. And if you're on a laptop or a desktop, you can click the three dots in the corner and in the corner of your profile to rename, or you can also click on participants and rename yourself that way. So additionally, if you need any support with anything at all throughout the event, you can feel free to message Morgan in the chat. Her username is going to say Morgan Staff She. So you can reach out for any support. For example, if you need help with your, changing your username, you can reach out to her. And in fact, I would take a few seconds. I'm going to give you like maybe 15 seconds to do that right now, because it is super important that you change your name to like I said, your name, your role, and your pronoun. Sophia, I believe, will also be looking through the names, just making sure that you all do that, changing your username. If you need any help, you can also reach out to her for that. Okay. Give you a few seconds to do that. It always helps us on our end behind the scenes when we're trying to change or put everybody into groups. So do not forget to do that. Okay, so again, just reach out to Morgan or Sophia if you need help changing your name. So with that, now that we're all settled and hopefully ready to go, we're gonna first take a moment to introduce ourselves. I'll go ahead and kick us off. My name is Mayra Vasquez, and I am based in Texas.
Hey everyone, my name is Elle, and I am currently in Chicago, and I'm gonna pass it off to my teammate, Kate.
Hi everyone, I'm Kate Baxter, and I'm currently in Central New Jersey.
Hi everyone, I'm Venus, and I am in Northern New Jersey, and I saw a little love for New Jersey in the chat. Very exciting.
Hi everybody, my name is Alyssa Rosenheck, and I am based in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh. Thank you. Who is next on? Okay. Alexander, did you have an opportunity to introduce yourself too?
Hello, everyone. I am Alexander. I'm originally from Atlanta, but as of right now, I am based in Dallas, Texas.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So that's a little bit, some of our program folks and some of the folks that you'll be able to meet in the breakout rooms a little later on. So thanks, everyone. We're going to pull up the PowerPoint here in a little bit so we can show you all our objectives. So we feel that that you all will take away so much from today's content. And here are our objectives. So we want all participants to have a deeper understanding of the different dimensions of well-being. All the participants will learn how to use the wellness wheel to create their own self-care toolkit. And then mentors in the call will have the opportunity to role model, to have the opportunity to work with the teens and the young women on the call, as well as work with the other mentors. And of course, you'll have the opportunity to share knowledge, your own knowledge and your own experiences. And so will the teens. So the teens and young women on the call will also have the opportunity to, to connect with the mentors, to connect with their peers during the different activities. And you all, of course, will have the opportunity to share your own experiences and knowledge. And then finally, of course, we hope that you all walk away from today's session having had lots of fun. We're talking about self-care. I think it's a lot of fun. All right, so with those objectives in mind, this is what we have planned for you. We have the agenda right here. We're going to be heading into our icebreaker here in a second. So more on that in a little bit. Elle is going to lead us in an overview, I should say, of the wellness wheel. We're going to follow that with a mentorship activity where you all will have the opportunity to really put into practice what you learned from Elle's section. And then we'll come back, we'll have some share outs, and then we'll go into closing where we're going to go over a few announcements and some next steps. All right, so in the next slide here. So yeah, like I said, we're going to be jumping into our icebreaker now. And for that, we're actually going to split into smaller groups and head into breakout rooms. So there, you all are going to have the opportunity to introduce yourselves to each other, share where you're from. We have folks from all over the country on the call, so it's always exciting to see who we have in our groups. Then what your group leader is going to do is they're going to share their screen with you. So they're going to share a few slides, and on each one of these slides, there's going to be a statement, all related to today's topic. So what you're going to do is you're going to read each statement, or your group leader might read each of these statements, and then you all are going to have the opportunity to share whether you agree with the statement or whether you disagree with the statement. And you're also going to share why or why not. And this part is super important to really get the conversation going. You also, by the way, might wind up somewhere in the middle. That's okay, as long as you share why. The goal of today's icebreaker is to get you all to begin thinking about the sort of things that come to mind when you think about self-care and the well-being, and to have you all begin exploring what you might understand or what might you have questions about, what assumptions you might hold, that sort of thing. So we're going to have about 15 minutes for this activity. So with all of that said, and if there are no questions or anything, we can begin.
Thank you all for participating in our icebreaker. That was really nice to prime ourselves for the conversations we're going to have later on today. And just as a reminder, I know most of you, but not all of us, have changed our display names. So if you could do that, go ahead and rename your profile to reflect three things: your name, your role, and then your pronouns. So that's really important because when we do our breakout sessions, we want it to be as kind of evenly distributed as possible between teens, young women, alumni, and mentors. So please change your profile name. And if you need any help tech-wise, go ahead and message Morgan, she's staff, and she'll be able to help you. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen now. And here we go. Okay, so this is a quote from Audre Lorde. "Caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare." So this quote is really near and dear to my heart. I really like it because so Audre Lorde, for some context, she was a Black queer feminist poet and civil rights activist. And I really like this quote because it demonstrates her power. So as we talk about prioritizing yourself and finding balance, we need to remember that in order to show up for each other and to make sustainable social change as a society, we have to show up for ourselves individually first. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? And so we really want to take time to really take care of ourselves first, and just know that taking care of yourself is not self-indulgence. Like she said, she's worthy of taking care of herself, as are all of us. So thank you for sharing in that moment and learning about more of Audre Lorde's quote. And then now I'm going to play a video for us. So let me just, here we go. This is a Headspace video. For any of you who may or may not be familiar with Headspace, it is a guided meditation app. And so they have these really great animation films. This is a brief 1-minute video, and I'll let it play.
Learning to meditate is a little like learning to surf. In the same way that the ocean has many different moods, so does the mind. Sometimes it feels easy, even relaxing. At other times, it feels challenging, perhaps overwhelming. But as we spend more time in the water or more time with the mind, we come to know these different conditions. We begin to better understand what kind of approach is required each day. Some days, we'll need to apply a little more effort to stay balanced. On others, we experience almost effortless practice, or at least moments of it anyway. And as we become more stable in our practice, more balanced in our approach, we begin to feel more confident. Most important of all, we come to accept that although we can't control the way.
Okay, so thank you for that quick little video. I think it got cut off really short, but at the end is basically saying that you can't control the waves, you can at least learn to surf. So that was just a really short clip about mindfulness and talking about having, taking time for yourself. We're so busy with our days that sometimes we just forget to let ourselves breathe. And so I really like that video because it reminds us to be mindful and to stay focused in the present, right? So mindfulness is awareness of the present moment and simply observing your thoughts without judgment. So now I invite all of us to take a collective breath. So in front of you is this screen of geometric shapes, and I'm going to invite you all to sync your breathing with the geometric shapes. So inhale as the shapes expand and exhale as the shapes collapse. We're going to do this together for 1 minute. And I just want you all to really take some time for yourself. 60 seconds out of your day is not a lot, but right now we can just be together. So unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders, and try your best to release any tension from your body. Okay, so that was our minute of mindful moment. How are we all feeling? You can go ahead and share in the chat. Hopefully we can feel a little bit more relaxed and just know that we're all in this space together and it's a safe and brave space for everyone. So thank you for sharing together. Okay, so let me just move on to our wellness wheel. So I invite you all to share in the chat also. What dimension do you feel strongest in and what dimension needs more attention? So this is a wellness wheel. We're going to be talking about the 8 different dimensions of wellness. So you may have heard of one, if not all 8 of these. Usually when we talk about wellness, some people talk about their physical health or their emotional health or their social health, but actually there's so many more components to it. And honestly, this is just one version of the wellness wheel also, but I really like to refer to this because that is really all encompassing. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to look at the chat real quick. Really taking some big breaths with breathing techniques. Okay, amazing. Thank you for sharing how you're all feeling, that it's relaxing and calm just to take a Take a breath. Okay, so go ahead and share in the chat also what dimensions you feel strongest in and also what dimensions need more attention. All right. Financial, intellectual, physical, probably feel strongest in spiritual. Love it. Keep that chat going while I start off talking about the wellness wheel. Okay, so for emotional wellness, meaning that we are coping effectively with life and creating satisfying relationships. So for example, honoring and processing your feelings and expressing them. The way you talk to yourself is actually really impactful of your emotional health. So if you're overly critical about every little thing you do and you're overly thinking like automatic negative thoughts, like that's not gonna help your emotional health, right? So we wanna reframe cognitively and turn those mistakes into learning lessons. Turn any of the automatic negative thoughts into what are ways that we can talk to ourselves nicer, right? Like positive affirmations is just one example. And then this is also a way to manage your stress. And then we're gonna go on to environmental. So environmental wellness, some people may not necessarily think about their actual immediate environment or surroundings, but this is a really big indicator of your own health, right? So what we want is good health by occupying pleasant and stimulating surroundings. We look for safety and security, right? We want a healthy living space. What does that mean? In the group that I was leading in for the icebreaker, we talked about having a clean and organized space. So like, for example, doing the dishes is just one task that you could do to make your environment, clean and organized. And another example is a change of scenery. So for all the students that are on this call today, I don't know if you've noticed, but it does help when you change your environment. So for example, if you are in your bedroom, but maybe you study better in the living room or somewhere quieter, or even if maybe you want to change it up and go to the backyard where there's more like nature and it's quiet outside and there's fresh air, having a change of scenery actually does really like boost your moods and helps your environmental wellness overall. And then now we have financial. So having a financial plan that supports your lifestyle, right? This specific wellness area, a lot of people find that they want to give more attention to it. And usually because like the financial is not always everyone's favorite aspect of wellness to work on, right? Tracking expenses, saving, paying bills is not always the fun self-care activity that you think of, but it is really, really important. In the icebreaker group that I was in, one of the mentors shared that, saving is investing in your future self. So having a budget is an investment in yourself. Like, I love that because that really clicked. It really just like made more sense that you want to set yourself up for success. And what does that look like? Well, maybe it means saving a part of your paycheck for, really important things like bills or rent, or even having a rainy day fund for fun activities. And now we have intellectual. So this is recognizing creative ways and abilities to find and expand your knowledge and your skills. So for example, taking classes, leisurely reading, hobbies. We really want to be lifelong learners, right? And so we are going to do whatever we enjoy to really stimulate our intellect. So for some, it might be going to museums when it was pre-COVID and that was allowed. But now even it could be just, what are we looking up to really expand our knowledge? Sometimes I've heard folks really like TED Talks and other YouTube videos, and even like makeup tutorials, things to add to your hobby. Like those all count because they're stimulating your intellect. And so that's a really important area of wellness to be cognizant of. And then we also have occupational. So occupational is personal satisfaction and enrichment derived from one's work or school. Had to put it in school because we've got students on this call, right? So we're talking about time management, things like boundaries, having a positive workplace or academic setting, taking breaks. That's really, really, really important. We are all either on Zoom for class or working from home. And we are, experiencing some kind of Zoom fatigue behind the screen. So taking water breaks, going out and just stretching, moving your body, stepping away from the computer And even unplugging and disconnecting from your phone or from your laptop or any screen, like that's a really important way to increase your occupational wellness also. And then time management, that's just something we really, really like to stress because time management is a lifelong skill. It's not only going to help you in school or in work, but just to manage your life in general, like holistically. Now we have physical. So physicals, recognizing the need for physical activity, diet, nutrition, and sleep. So that counts things like rest, stretching, walking, healthy food, some kind of physical release. This is probably the most, folks are more familiar with, like, what can we do to improve our physical wellness? Sleep is really, really important. And I know that with the pandemic, we may be sleeping more or we may be sleeping less. We might have, our routines may have switched because we are no longer going out in person as much or as often as we used to. So just recognizing that every body is different and you just need to listen to your own body, right? So your body is gonna tell you cues, like if you're yawning in the middle of class, maybe that may signal you need a nap in between, or that might signal that you need to hydrate and to drink some more water, right? To just wake your body up and get those energy going. So physical wellness, also very important part of the wheel. And then now we have social. So social is developing a sense of connection, belonging, and a well-developed support system. So meaningful connections are an example of this. Like Step Up is it is an example of social wellness. So thank you all for being a part of this space because we're creating community right now. Boundaries are an example of social wellness, right? So when you need to walk away from someone or something or say no, like if you're saying no to someone's request, you're saying yes to yourself. So that's the way I like to look at that. And then asking for help is another example of social wellness. And then positive social media. So a lot of things on social media can be both positive and negative. It can be negative when we start to compare ourselves and our lives to, these curated kind of Instagram feeds of strangers that we've never met or celebrities or influencers that have these amazing things going on in life. But when we start to compare ourselves to them, that, really impacts us negatively and our mental health goes down and our self-esteem maybe, and our anxiety goes up. So when we talk about positive use of social media, it means following accounts that make you feel good, that have, social media posts that make you feel happier, and unfollowing people that maybe don't do that for you, that don't make you feel good. And then we have spiritual. So spiritual is expanding our sense of purpose and meaning of life. So for example, prayer, meditation, community involvement, journaling, nature, and time alone. These are all examples of spiritual wellness. Basically just whatever it means for you to find fulfillment in things. So if it's time in nature and going on a long walk through a beautiful park or hiking, maybe it's spending time alone in like actual solitude and just, recharging your own inner battery. Or maybe it's a journaling, right? And like finding, being connected to yourself. And then if you're religious or spiritual, prayer and meditation are very, very helpful. And even being active in your community is a way to, be collectively, like help your spiritual wellness too. Okay, so now you have gone through the wellness wheel and you can use this guide to create your own personal self-care toolkit. So, I've just clicked on the chat right now and I've seen so much while I was talking. I'm so happy to see that y'all are engaging in the chat. So it's beautiful to read. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for right now because we're actually going to move on to our breakout rooms. Let me stop share real quick. Okay, so we are now going to move on to our next breakout session, activity which is going to be talking about taking the self-care wheel and applying it to scenario-based situations. So each of our breakout leaders has a specific situation that they're going to share their screen with you all. And then you're going to get a chance to talk amongst yourselves as a group to talk about, how can we improve this fictitious character's well-being in the 8 areas of dimension, or the 8 dimensions of wellness. And then the second half of the group of our breakout session is going to be doing reflection questions. And so your breakout leaders will be introducing themselves, but whenever we're ready, we can go ahead and.
We are ready. So we are going to move into 10 breakout rooms, and you will be in a new room. So you'll have an opportunity to connect with new mentors and mentees. And just a reminder, if any staff member is from Step Up that is not leading a breakout, please decline the breakout invite for this round. And I'll also send a friendly reminder when it's time to come back to our main session.
Welcome back, everyone. We hope you enjoyed your breakout groups. So we'd love to have a few share outs from folks. My goal is to have at least one person from each group share, some highlights, little tidbits, maybe key takeaways, either from from the scenario, or it could be from the reflection questions, a really cool tip you learned, anything like that. And so I think what I'll do is we can have, there we go. I'll just call out, that way we keep on time here. So how about Kate's group? Do we have a group rep from your group?
Oh, Myra, you had to pick me first. I wasn't a very good group lead and I forgot to assign someone. So I will just say we had a great conversation, and maybe some of my fellow group members could chime in. But when we were talking about a lot of kind of things that we learned. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Michelle's going to jump in. But one thing I will say that I thought was really interesting is we all kind of talked about making sure that we took kind of time for ourselves away from the computer, away from Netflix, away from our phones, and a lot of kind of opportunities to get a different, like, change of scenery, go for walks, things like that. So that was really kind of important to everyone. And then, yes, Michelle, if you have anything else to add, that would be great.
Michelle's my group.
Oh, but she had a Michelle too.
Yeah, I had a Michelle too.
Some of the things we were talking about is just connecting with other people, whether it's people that are in your house. Tanisha was talking about how she's closer with her daughter. I was fortunate that I got to spend several months with my parents at their house, and just appreciating the people that you're with, and not just, you're all going through your own little miserable piece of whatever it is that day because of pandemic, and you're in the house and you're on a Zoom and you're not socializing and seeing your friends, but just kind of connecting with the people that you're with because they're going through the same thing as you are. And it's just a way to get closer to the people that are in your house and part of your family.
Awesome. Well said. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's do Venus's group next.
Yeah, Chelsea and I are gonna kind of tag team. So our scenario was talking about a student who was really stressed from taking exams and applying for college and dealing with the pandemic and not being able to see their friends. And so we talked a lot about finding a support group of people that you can relate to, whether that's fellow seniors who are also applying for college, or also combining parts of the wellness wheel. So like social and physical, maybe going for a walk and calling your friends at the same time, and kind of just like getting both aspects into one. And so we did have a really great conversation. And Chelsea, if there's anything you want to add, please do.
I think she hit all the points. I don't think I need to add anything else. But yeah, I think like I also said, it's one of those things where I went through this not similar situation, but everyone stresses for the exams. Everyone stresses for how they're going to be financially going to college. So it's one of those things where it's like you need to breathe in and breathe out and know that everything is going to be okay. And if it's not okay now, it will be in the future. Because like I said, financially, it should not deter you from going and getting your GE, your degree, whatever it is that you want to get. It should never deter you from getting an education. So, yes.
I love it. Also well said. Thank you. And I love the idea too of combining the different areas, you know. That's awesome. Okay, so Sophia's group.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle. I was a part of Sophia's group, and we looked at a case study where the individual was thrust into a situation due to COVID as a third-year student, and just not knowing how to react in a healthy way. And because of the stress and not being able to accomplish the things that she wanted to, she was just lashing out in a sense. And so some of the things we talked about to kind of mitigate those things are focusing on the physical, the emotional, because there can be some guilt based on the way you're reacting, especially with family members and loved ones. Just forgiving yourself, learning how to balance, and maybe not feeling like you have to balance everything at the same time, but trying to find a way to go with the wave, learning how to surf in uncontrollable environments, and being able to continue to affirm yourself during that time, reminding yourself who you are, but also forgiving yourself and knowing that it's okay if you're not 100%. Like if your self-care routines aren't, you know, giving you what you need, it's okay. It's, you just keep going, you know, and at some point you don't give up on your self-care. You don't give up on yourself, but forgive yourself and keep moving forward and learning how to just ride the wave in those areas where you can't control, you know, the things that are happening. I don't know, Sophia, do you want to add?
Yeah, that was awesome. Perfect. Thank you. Awesome. All right, so next is Hollis's group.
Stefania, you gonna share for us?
Yeah, and I also invite anybody on our group to add on if I don't like get everything. So our case study was around a 22-year-old young woman who is on her last semester of college. She had a stable schedule, but you know, due to unfortunate life events, she's back on online schooling. Her gym, I guess her gym is closed. Um, what what else? She basically ends up like eating pizza on a regular now because that's like it makes her happy. Um, and she's just anxious about life in general. And I remember sharing with my group that that just felt like my story. And some of the things that they added on to that was the fact that Miss Selena said that she does yoga. She used to do the yoga as part of her routine, and how like learn how to adjust. Even though not most of the stuff is online, she just had to like find something that's, you know, not for this very moment, but something that's different. So she would do walks as a replacement because, you know, online yoga did not fit what she wanted at the time. And then also we talked about just the anxiety of like, you know, worrying about what's next after college. Just taking it day by day and actually like, you know, doing some research to like kind of put your head at ease, getting some network, you know, in and did I miss anything?
I think you covered it all, Stefania. Great job.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. Awesome. All right, so we have a couple more minutes left, so hopefully we can get through the rest of the groups. We might not, but up next is Elle's group.
Okay, I also was not able to get a volunteer, but right now I'm going to ask for the mentors and mentees in my group. So Yasmin, Arlene, Jeanette, Nikita, or any of the mentors, Micheline, anyone can step up and share on behalf of the group.
I feel like with our scenario, how she felt pressure of having to like take care of everything plus school on top of it, and I feel like I can relate to that because I'm the oldest of three, and it's like a lot of work because like after like finishing school, I feel I need to like take care of them, spend time with them, and sometimes I forget like, well, am I okay? Do I feel like I have everything down for me? And it's like, and somebody said that had to like, it's okay to balance things out. It's okay to
Okay, I
put
see what you
yourself
mean. I'm
first.
fighting the temptation to hit the screen.
It's okay to put yourself first, and then you can go take care of other people, because it's okay to, like, today's a me day, and I need to take care of myself, make sure I'm okay. Maybe if I feel like I got everything that I can, spread that around with everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Checking in with yourself first, that's important. I love that. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna say we have time for one more, just really quick. Um, so I think next on my list is Kathleen's group. You're gonna be the last one to finish us off. Kathleen's group.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Elle and Kate. We had a really good chat that we went to the very last moment, and I said, please someone share as we were getting pulled back here. So hoping someone heard my call and will step up as well.
Yeah, anybody want to share from Kathleen's group? Be really quick. If not, that's okay. Oh, Maggie, were you going to say something?
Sure, I can share. So yeah, we had Tanya, who was, I think, a sophomore in high school, 16, who was experiencing Zoom fatigue, had been taking classes remote, was just finding it really hard to focus, after being on Zoom all day long. Was also still, having to set an example for her younger brother, babysit from time to time, worried about her grandmother who was elderly and vulnerable to being sick, and just found herself in her free time Netflix binging and kind of social media scrolling, which I think a lot of us understood the feeling. So we talked about, ways, Tanya could, in her free time, find ways to reconnect with kind of purpose and meaning and things that fulfill her, whether that's whatever that might mean to her, whether that's like going out in nature, finding an activity that she enjoys, reconnecting with friends, even if it's distance, and even like thinking of how she can reach out to her grandmother remotely, and check in with her more, or do random acts of kindness or things like that might help her get out of that sort of fatigue or slug, taking breaks.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And thank you for all the group reps for sharing all of those really gold wisdom and just everything you all talked about sounded really, really amazing. So thank you for sharing. Okay, so with that, we're sadly towards the end of our event. It's so insane to me. I feel like these events always go by so fast. But before you all leave, we do have to cover a few more things here. So first up is the announcements and upcoming events. So we have an event called Power Lunch Women's History Month panel coming up. It's going to be on Thursday, March 4th, so mark your calendars. It's going to be from 11 to 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. And this is open to all high school girls, Step Up alumni, young women between the ages of between 18 and 25, and Step Up members. So Morgan's going to put the link to RSVP for that event in the chat box. So definitely RSVP for that. Up next then also is, if you want to receive text updates, if you want to receive text updates with regarding the youth programs, you can text BOLD to 76278. Or if you want to get more updates more regarding the alumni programs, you can text GLOW to 76278 to receive those updates. I believe those are also going to be in the chat box, or you can screenshot the slide here if that's more convenient. Next thing here, I would definitely recommend for you all to follow us on social media. We are out there, of course. You can find us at Step Up Women's Network. And then finally, definitely and this is more specific for the students on the call here, be on the lookout for a follow-up email with more resources and content related to today's session. And it's also going to include a brief feedback survey. It should only really take you a couple of minutes to fill out, and we always love to hear what you have to say about our programs. So that should be out either probably today or at the latest by tomorrow morning. So be on the lookout for that. Then here's our contact information. If you have any questions or anything regarding the youth programs, you can feel free to email either Elle or myself. If you're more interested in hearing about the alumni programs, you can send an email to Sophia. Although in general, if you just want some general information about Step Up, you can feel free to reach out to any one of us there. And up next, yes, okay, now it's time for our raffle. I don't know if I mentioned that we were going to do a raffle early on. So we are giving away these amazing waterproof true wireless in-ear sport headphones. It's a mouthful, worth almost $100 from jbl.com to 5 participants on the call. So behind the scenes, while you all were working really hard, we picked 5 names at random to win these awesome headphones. Okay, and so I have these names. Hold on, I'm going to read them out loud. Okay, are you all excited? Drum rolls, right? Okay, so we have Alexis Carroll, Samantha Esk, I hope that pronounced this right, Atasha Mothershed, Nikita, and Kaylee. All right, so please make sure to message Morgan. It's going to say Morgan Staff She. Message Morgan with your full name and your mailing address if you want to make sure that you get your prize right in the mail. So congratulations, winners. All right. And with that said, again, don't forget to message her. You don't want to miss out when you're on the headphones. All right. And that's it. Thank you all so much for coming. We really appreciate it. Want to give major kudos to all the mentors on the call for sharing all your experiences and your wisdom with us. We always appreciate it. We couldn't do what we do without you all. And definitely kudos to the teens and the alumni on the call. You all are always ready to go. Love that you came. You were present. You were, willing to put yourself out there and being vulnerable, taking initiative. Just absolutely loved hanging out with you all today. And I hope that y'all have a really, really good rest of your evenings or days. Thanks. Bye, y'all.